What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you had a wonderful Wednesday out there in the market, and more opportunities to come. We had a bunch of earnings plays coming out after hours today, a bunch of fun ones. We got more fun tomorrow in the earnings basket too, mostly in the after hours session. Um, but still more fun over here. I'll be honest, I didn't actually look at the after hour moves today because I wanted it to be a little bit of surprise. I didn't want to know what happened already to Meta, IBM, and QuantumScape. So I've been any notification, just swiped it off my screen. Didn't want to know about it. Wanted to kind of save my expressions and my excitement for the stream over here. So hopefully you guys are here. You guys are tuning in. Dan Duval, not Shadow Ben today. I love it. Awesome. Welcome to the chat, Dan Duval. Welcome back. TH over here saying number 3. Welcome, TH. So, yeah, hopefully you guys had a great day. A little quick synopsis of how my day went. I was actually pretty decent on the day. I was doing pretty good. And then I wasn't doing that great. So as you guys can see the thumbnail on the day today, digging holes, digging graves. That's because of my poor decision making, breaking my own rules, being a little impatient on a certain stock, on a specific stock. I guess you can already see it in the title below what stock exactly that was. It happened to be Spotify. Look for a day 2 play on Spotify. Got a little punished. Gave back my day and a little bit more. So, that hurt a little bit. Lost more than I probably should have on that stock, honestly. We'll get more and more deeper into it as we start talking about my trades on the day. But once again, nothing too bad that can hurt us. You know how I like to be transparent with you guys. This week hasn't been the best. This week has been pretty damn bad. We had 3 red days in a row now on this week. That being said, the first 2 red days, however, have been pretty small, so it doesn't really matter. But this red day, I think, is actually our biggest red day on this month so far. So, time to fix some of that, clean up some of that dirty trades that we've been pulling out, and then maybe maximize, push more size on the cleaner trades that we've been finding, and maybe cut down the amount of tickers that we possibly trade to. Will maybe save us some money over there. But all of that and more to dive into on today's stream, on today's TraderPrad show. So welcome once again. And if you by any chance have any stocks that you want us to take a look at, feel free to throw it in the chat. We'll go through the chat every now and then to find some stocks for you guys to take a look at. I see Diego coming in the chat saying long Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm excited for Bitcoin. We'll take a look at that. It's obviously on the watch list. And all the Bitcoin stocks are also on the watch list. So we'll take a look at all that fun in that basket. Since looks like people are ready to get started, why don't we get started with the show? Welcome once again to the Trader Prad show, ladies and gentlemen. And here are Trader Prad's trades today. Microsoft announced positive earnings. We were looking for the stock to maybe hold off in the 345 area. We tried a quick little long on the off the open, didn't really work out, punched out of it. Then later on, when the stock starts to consolidate near 342, we punch back with a small tight risk to reward. The stock does manage to push right back up to 346 or so. So amazing long over there to start off our day. But then sadly, the stock does manage to push lower and stops me out. Off of this opening drive action on Microsoft and not managing to push up to 347, which was the pre-market highs, or even yesterday's after hour highs, the levels that we were interested in, somewhere around 349, 350-ish or so. Those levels not coming into play at all off the opening drive clearly indicated that there was maybe a little bit of downside, some profit taking move. And the way the market was moving today too, QQQ really pushing down big time. S&P 500 also breaking multiple levels to the downside, almost pushing back to that 4,200 level on the S&P 500 futures. So all of these factors combined, I don't want to keep forcing along in Microsoft just because they had positive earnings. So I just stayed away from it. But something that I said yesterday that I'm remembering now, didn't remember at that moment, but I'm remembering now, which is, if the long isn't good, then maybe possibly look for some shorts. And if I was looking for some shorts, the stock did give you multiple opportunities to get short, maybe even on the break below a day over here. I guess this would be constructed as a break below a day technically, but no follow through. But later on in the day, when it does manage to break the low a day, a possible short attempt over there does give you a nice move to the downside, and also possibly in tandem with the rest of the market as the market was selling off. So Microsoft making sure to keep this on the watch list for tomorrow. Profitable trade to start off our day with. So nice little clean start off the day with over there on Microsoft. Later on in the day, I do catch some longs on Meta to kind of make some of that money that I donated to the market on Spotify. So Meta helps me out, catch some longs in front of 300, a quick little scalp up to 302 or so. And then I try some more longs in the lower end of the range over here. But the market looks like it was coming down, and the market wasn't really at low a day. Market was somewhere closer to in the higher end above the low a day for the QQQ, whereas for the Meta was at 300 and really struggling to stay above 300, or it was staying above 300 but not really giving you too much of a pop. So if the market was getting ready to push back down, Meta being at 300 could have easily broken down to a lower side. Noticing all of these factors, I just stopped looking for the longs on this position and I stayed away from it. Possibly saved me some money later on, but it did give me a quick little scalp again for $1. But the fact that the stock just kept getting stuff back down under $1 after making a pop of $1, after making a pop of $2, clearly a lot of weakness in Meta platform. This is pre-earnings. We still don't know what the earnings move is. We will find that out very soon. And obviously, since the stock has announced earnings tonight, we will be for sure looking for some trade opportunities tomorrow off this on the stock Meta platforms. Amazon, with the rest of the companies over there that or Tech Basket, which was selling off QQQ, I was looking at Amazon. I think this was actually pointed out to me by my manager. My manager shouted out that Amazon was around a pretty solid level on the daily chart. I pull it up quickly on the daily chart. I go to the 1 hour chart. That level does look pretty solid. So for any little consolidation in that area and a pop back up into that area, I get long with the risk at the low of that area, and then I'm able to take some profits right in front of 124. So thank you to my manager for shouting this trade out. Quick little scalp. We'll pull up this trade on the longer time frame for Amazon when we do talk about it, because the stock is actually coming out with earnings tomorrow after hours. So kind of something to have our eyes on the stock and put it on our watch list. But nice little clean long on this Amazon for us. So shout out to my manager for pointing out that trade. Snapchat. Beautiful long on Snapchat over here. Missed out the pump off the opening drive. Later on, the stock pushes all the way to the downside right near yesterday's close of 970-ish, and then pops back up to VWAP. So I figured, hey, there's possibly another bounce right back to VWAP if it does push down over here. So I throw an order at 980, and I kind of forget about the stock, and I just ignore it. I forget that I even have the order out there. Later on in the day, the stock does come back down and gives me that order. So I'm like, whoa, holy shit, I'm now long Snapchat. I have to go manage this position. So I go pull over Snapchat. I see what's going on. I throw my stop down at the low of the day. The stock manages to push us to the north side, but I see tight selling coming in, and the stock not able to actually have that pump to the upside above VWAP, push above 10. And in our notes yesterday, that was the plan. If the stock is above 10, look for longs, and it wasn't really pushing above 10. So that being considered, punched out of my long. Quick little scalp on Snapchat, allowing us to make multiple risk to reward units on this trade. So that's shout out to Snapchat. Thanks. Sadly though, we didn't take too much size over here. So all of these wins that you're seeing weren't really too much of size, and that's why our day turns really sour based on how we traded the stocks with actual size, and we get burnt on. Boeing, positive earnings pre-market, well, negative earnings pre-market, or I think it was a miss in EPS, but a beat in revenue, or the other way around. Either way, they announced earnings, which was kind of negative, but they did announce that the productions of one of the bigger airliners is going to go from 4 to 5 a month, and then a cut down of a different airliner, which has been known to causing issues, which was expected. So all of these factors combined, I was looking at Boeing selling off right off the open, and then around low a day over here near 178. I'm able to get long as the stock pushes back into this area. Get long for a quick little scalp, got stopped out. Nice little quick little long on Boeing. Sadly, I do miss out this bigger move over here as I wasn't looking at the stock. When it does break this low, I thought the stock doesn't really have another room to the north side, but I do miss out on this big move. I try another short over here, and I basically give back whatever long I had. I really thought the short was going to play out on the stock. Sadly, I was too early, I guess. I could have waited later on, got back in. I could have also got back in on the long later on. Either way, if I was keeping my eyes on this trade, maybe I could have gotten in and made the right decisions on this trade at some point. I did at one point, but later on I made the wrong decision, turned the stock flat on the day for me. Here comes our two worst stocks on the day. Google was actually one of our best stocks on the day, but we broke our own rules as we did on Spotify, and we turned our day sour. So what were these rules that we're talking about? Basically a plan. Excuse me. All right, Google for looking for pops into looking for shorts into any pops, right? I think there's a move down into the previous earnings gap up range of 127.50. If that price doesn't hold, could see the stock go lower for a possible gap close to 10, but I don't see that happening intraday unless the stock is really weak. Look for weakness around 130 off the open to get short. If stock opens under 130 and pops into 130, could be our only attempt to get short. Beautiful notes, but horrible execution off the open on the stock. So let's go to Google. As you guys can see right here, stock is opening under 130 off the open. Well, where does it actually open? What's is that the, that's 930, that's 930. Stock opens at 128.26 and pushes as high as 128.30. So sadly that's the highest you can get. You don't get that 130 move at all. You do get a little bit of that chance in pre-market if you're watching it. That's the only opportunity you get to short that 130 move down. You don't get that chance later on. But as you guys can see, this box that we drew down yesterday for you from 126.30 to 126.50, let's just say 126 to 126.50, how the stock have basically traded in that box for quite a bit. If we had the plan to basically short 127.50, then why are we wasting our time taking the trades over here on Google in the lower end of those ranges, right? There's no point shorting or taking new entries in the lower end of those ranges. Just wasting money, because then I get scared sometimes that maybe the stock will have that bounce. It's down 9-10% on the day, not 10 but like 8-9% on the day. And then I have to, take some of these shares as losses, get back in at the higher end of the range, and then try to win again, and then get back in again at those same areas like an idiot, take those entries as losses, get back in at the higher end of the ranges, make that money back, get back in at the lower end of the ranges, ship myself and close it, get back in the higher end of the ranges, and then make that money back and then close again. It was just a constant stupid cycle of trading over here, right? We knew exactly what we wanted to do. It even respected today's VWAP perfectly, later on in the day at least. So we knew what we wanted to do. It's just, we were getting too impatient with the trade. Maybe we got a little greedy because we didn't have the amount of size we perhaps wanted at the first few entries that we had. That is causing us to take more entries, especially into possible support, right? Taking shorts into possible support. How effing stupid can we be, especially off the open? Later on, when the stock obviously tests that support enough, it gives up and the markets crash and the stock goes down a little bit more, fine, whatever. But stupid is what stupid does, and sadly this is what happens over here when you're not sticking to your own playbook and you're not sticking to your own rules. So easy trades, could have made a lot of money. Sadly, we were making a lot of money, but sadly we making stupid decisions, gave it up on it. Spotify, same thing. We had a plan, and in that plan, nowhere did it involve for us to trade the stock to the long side if it wasn't holding 170. right off the open. Let's go show you on a better chart. Right off the open, the stock fails to even, hold 170. I guess it opens slightly above 170. No, opens above 169.94. Runs up to 170.25, but then immediately under 170.25. The next candle high is 169.33, and the next candle high is 169.69. So if you just got short on the re-entry below 170, or even short somewhere around over here in these areas of 169, 169.50s, the monster move to the downside on Spotify over there. And our plan was, if the stock was holding 170, we go long. If not, then we stay away from it. We even had this 165.90 area. I guess kind of that line caused us to try alongs a little bit. A couple of our other indicators that we were leaning on, it looked like it was bouncing off this area a little bit. So I tried some longs over here at 164, 165. Technically, our only long attempt should have been at 163, because that's where the stock's low was yesterday. That should have been our only attempt. But I have so many attempts on the stock on the day today that, loss. Bang, bang, loss. Bang, bang, loss. Bang, 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 loss, loss, loss. So just taking losses after losses after losses on this trade ended up hurting me quite a bit today on Spotify. Ended up being my worst trade of the day. Probably my worst trade of the month so far. This one's gonna haunt me a little bit in my sleep tonight. I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night thinking about these positions and these share sizes that I was pushing. It's not the share sizes, but it's just how I was impatient, and how I kind of forced that trade too much. Anyways, enough bitching and moaning. Time to find all the opportunities for tomorrow. Time to find those fun opportunities, find those fun trading, money making opportunities for tomorrow. Let's quickly take a look at chat over here. Cody in the house, Dieter's in the house, Gustavo's in the house. What's up, Gustavo? Pratt, thank you, bro. As always, killing it. Appreciate it. Much love. Mucho obrigado. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto is not me like. Yeah, mucho obrigado is thank you very much. So mucho obrigado. Diego, what's good, Diego? Long Bitcoin. Yeah, man. I hope my Bitcoin gets to 100K this year. Then possibly I could pay my bills finally. Where we're going to, right, we were going to start off with the watch list for the day. So our watch list on the day consists of, obviously, like I said, earnings plays, some of the back burner earnings stocks over here, some stocks that are earnings coming out with earnings tomorrow, and F also has had a little bit of a move today, intraday, something about the UAW strike getting close. I guess we can remove it from there, because we already have it. My niece downstairs is screaming. I don't think you guys can hear it, but it's kind of hilarious. It's making me laugh. She's just yeah, you guys can't hear it. I can see the mic meter not moving when she's screaming, but it's hilarious. She's like singing nursery rhymes and having a whole bunch of fun over there. I wish I was downstairs right now playing with it, but I got a job to do, which is talk about stocks to you guys and mainly find those money making opportunities for me to get out of this hole. Maybe we get to climb out of the hole that we dug ourselves in today and climb out of that ladder, build the ladder back up above that hole and climb back up tomorrow. So let's see if we can find those opportunities, starting off with META. So Meta, obviously a big down move today based on how the market played out. We haven't seen the after hour move yet, so we'll find out in a second. Looks like oh wow, EPS with the monster beat for Meta platforms. Revenue, not that big of a beat, a decent beat, almost a billion, I guess, 500 million over there. Beat, yeah, 500 million surprise, but EPS, a monster beat on EPS. Looks like Meta probably popped into, I would say, somewhere. This is the daily chart. Yeah, this is the daily chart. 307 would be an understatement. I think Meta's back into this 320, 315 areas. Oh, I was close. I was close. But then what happened over here? We dropped right back. Oh. So we start off going down. Looks like maybe something to do with the whole market nonsense. Then a big buyer around these areas. These levels clearly look important. Where do those lines come from? Somewhere back here. Where does that line come from? Get out of here. That line might as well be deleted. Wait, was that the same line? No, it wasn't. Okay. It was one of these lines, right? That line might as well be deleted. So we got this line coming back in, right back to the downside. I mean, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting. That was a monster beat, and as you guys can see, as soon as the earnings numbers came out, I mean, the volume spike, a big monster move to the north side. We were thinking 316, 315. I'm kind of happy. I'm really happy that I nailed that move right back into this area for the after hour move. I mean, come on, you know what I'm gonna do. Prastradamus over there striking yet again, and we nailed the bottom of this move over here too. So shout out to Meta for trading within our exact levels, and we possibly have some trades over here tomorrow. This is surprising to me. I'm actually at loss for words, so I'm kind of just repeating the same thing again and again, because you know, good earnings report popping up, which is what you would see, consolidating at that 307 area, which is even better, but then breaking down after. Like, what happened in the conference call? Was there something in the conference call? Did something bad happen? Did Zuckerberg say something like, you know, what the hell is this? Well, what time would the earnings have come out? It says it came out at 6:15. I think I actually have it put down in my Discord server. 4:05 was when the earnings was supposed to come out, and 4:06, you see how there's a big volume spike, which is where the stock starts going up, then goes down, then goes up. Excuse me as I cough into your face right there, chat. This is when TradingView says the earnings came out. But I think the real important thing is that move right there. Because whatever happened from this move down, probably more important than the earnings move from the volume spike, and the earnings official move from the bigger volume spike. But I think whatever happened from this move over here is a little bit more important. So Meta, I'm trying to see what happens at 295. I think someone in the chat said 295 Meta. Shinobi said 295 Meta. Yeah, so if Meta can pop up back into 295, 296 areas, maybe something over there to see what happens. I'm still very shocked for words. I mean, lost for words over here. This is crazy. Rolling right back into the low end of these ranges. I mean, if market really doesn't like what Meta had to say today, then are we going down to 274? And if Meta's going down to 274, then is the market really going to plummet tomorrow, give us a bigger south side move? And I mean, this is what happened to the QQQ today. We finally got under that 351 area, and SPY also finally getting back under this 417, getting finally back under 420 really, and getting back under 417. The S&P 500 futures, 4,200, which looks like we actually broke in the after hours, not during the intraday today, but breaking down below 4,200 in the after hours opens up a lot of room to the downside on the market. 4,200 was a big level to the north side when the stock market was pushing up for pretty much all of the year. 2023 starting right over here, as you guys can see, 4,200 was a pretty solid level. So now pulling back into that level, you would expect some supports to come in and some buyers to show up. But if you know, no hedge funds, no big money traders want to buy the stock market right now, buy the futures of the S&P 500, that would open up a little bit more room. That just means more south side possibilities for the S&P 500, more south side possibilities for the QQQ over here. And if Meta is going to behave the way it just did in the after hours today, then boy oh boy is that worrisome. That's, you know, fearful for the stock, especially going into tomorrow. So we'll be watching this one. Looks like this 280. What is that low today? 284, 285. I mean, Jesus Christ. I really don't have a crystal ball on this stock for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Usually, you know, for MSFT, I can give you a perfect example like yesterday, right? We said we expect the stock to open up above 345. Look what it did. It opens up right around 345, above 345. And then if in our notes we say, you know, if the stock can hold up in these areas, we can look for some longs, but it never really pushes there. So obviously we look for some shorts. We did try some longs later on, and then we noticed the weakness in the stock, so we stayed away from it. So we kind of had a clue what Microsoft would do based on how Microsoft traded in the after hours yesterday on its earnings report. But Meta Platforms is really confusing because that's a monster beat on earnings, but yeah, sold off quite drastically. So I think the pre-market action will be king. If for any reason we do get back above 295 and stay above 295, then this selling action over here negated, and then the earnings move kind of coming back into play a little bit. So I'll be interested to see how that earnings action comes into a rescue Meta Platforms, maybe push it back to the upside, or do we get stuff back in off the earnings volume nodes that we just put our VWAPs on. But Meta Platform for sure need to be on the watch list, right? 100% need to be on the watch list. IBM, sadly I won't be able to put any notes down for Meta today. That's pretty sad. But I think real quick notes, this 286 to 288, 286 to 288, would that be acceptable? Yeah, what's that right there? 290? Yeah, 290 to, yeah, I don't know. See, I really don't know. I mean, like, that looks pretty good. Here, let's just do this. Okay. So that range right there, we'll be interested to see how that range plays out on the stock. Obviously, we have these two lows, this volume node lows over here, which will possibly indicate big buyers stepping up at these lows and pushing the stock really up to the north side. So a couple interesting nodes over there. I mean, the stock basically respecting those lows. So I'm interested to see what happens in that range. I think I just have to wait, honestly, just have to wait for the stock to open. I can't find any proper structure based on how it moved to today. I think that's going to be pretty confusing for me at this point. IBM, let's go forward, moving forward, on to the next one. Okay, bearish case QQQ session. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. Not surprised. Something wasn't said in CC. I listened twice. Meta in the conference call, something wasn't said. So it's not what they said, it's more about what they didn't say. Okay, I mean, I can accept that. IBM coming out with earnings report. It looks like the numbers are pretty much in line. Not too much of a beat, but overall did beat analysts. So I'm expecting maybe a little bit of a pop right back into 138, 140 over here. Not too much of a pop. The 100 period EMA, the 50 period EMA right over here. So I mean, according to the EMAs, wait, the blue should be the 100. Yeah, so according to the EMAs, the stock is still in a bullish trend. Apparently, even though, you know, it's in a small pullback on the longer term trend. So on a smaller term, it's a downtrend, but on a longer term, it's still in an uptrend apparently, especially according to the EMAs. The 50 is above the 100, but they are both turning back down, and they could cross over. But based on this earnings report, I'm expecting a pop, and if that pop is coming, I would expect somewhere back into, you know, the 100 period EMA. So let's see if it popped into 140-ish. Damn, I was pretty damn close. Look at that. 141, 140, pretty much the high of these areas right now on IBM. Nice little move in the after hours. Not too much volume coming in. IBM was supposed to report at 410. Looks like that's where these guys also have it pinged. So we'll maybe move it to this big candle instead, because that's also where one of the first volume candle kind of starts in the after hour, where the volume starts to pick off. So that area I'm pretty interested, anywhere from 130 to 140. Basically, if IBM can get above 130 to 140, right above this area, 138, what's that, 139? Yeah, that line is basically 139. It says 138.76. Let's just say 139. Anywhere from 139 to 140. Show me some support there. Get above it. If it can get above 139 to 140, could look for some longs here. Could look for some longs, possible targets right up into the north side over here. I think what we saw 141 come in a little bit, but I wouldn't expect. I don't know. I can't see the stock going up to 145 tomorrow. I really can't. I can't see the stock going up to 145 tomorrow, but maybe a nice little $2, $3 move on the support of 139 to 140 tomorrow gives us a move up to 143. So long here for a possible move up to 143, but if this area can't show buying, no longs. QuantumScape, QS, ladies and gentlemen. QuantumScape, wait, did we put in our anchor VWAP? Yeah, we did put in our anchor VWAP for the earnings move. Now, going on to the next one on the earnings board, QuantumScape coming out with the earnings report. Man, the stock has been, absolutely beat down. I remember the stock around this area, right around when I started trading too, 2021, 2019. Damn, when did I start trading? November 2019, I believe. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, almost my 4th year. But I did have to stop trading in the middle a little bit because of the whole Trader TV nonsense that I had to go through. So because of that, basically not really at my 4th year of trading. I'm technically in my 3rd year of trading. But holy wow, shout out to me. But okay, QuantumScape, and we're still struggling with my trading. Come on, Prad, you need to pick up your game there, buddy. Pick up your game. QuantumScape. I mean, this stock has been beaten down quite drastically for such a long time now. Has been making a little bit of a pops, I guess. I thought they had some sort of a partnership with Apple, if I remember correctly. Is that QuantumScape or is that Qualcomm? I think Qualcomm was the one that had a partnership with Apple, not QuantumScape. Either way, looks like another continuation of what's been happening on the earnings board for these guys, which is just more and more misses. What the hell is this? Okay, never seen that way, not coming in. Maybe they just didn't report their revenue. Maybe they aren't making any revenue. They just don't have any ways to make money at the moment. I'm not even sure what the hell QuantumScape does, I'll be honest. But not doing anything interesting over there on the revenue side, missing on the EPS side. But if that is exactly what the estimate was and they came out with exactly the estimate, that should be a good sign. Based on EPS, however, I'm expecting the stock to possibly move back into that 52-week low. So let's go check out what the stock looks like. Looks like, yeah, a little bit move right back to the downside, 548. No, not really pushing all the way down to the 52-week low, $5. But a nice little flush on QuantumScape. No real volume in the after hours with that earnings catalyst, so I'm not expecting the stock to do too much tomorrow. But if the stock does bring in some volume, we can look for some possible trades over here. I mean, if for any reason the stock does pop right back into this 570 to 550, 560 to 570 and shows us some rejections over there, we could possibly look for some shorts back into $5. But besides that, I'm not really too interested in trading QS based on how the stock traded in the after hours today. If for any reason pre-market tomorrow it does bring in some volume, we could get a little bit more excited and then revamp our play there. But for now, our only play is looking for rejections in 560 to 570 area. Next stock is a behemoth, a giant that we traded today. I believe we got a quick little long scalp on that trade, so that was fun on that stock. But how do we find some trades on this stock tomorrow is the main question. Going into tomorrow, based on how we traded on today's action or how the stock traded on today, where do we find the money making opportunities is the main question here. So it looks like we have some sort of a level around 336.14, 336 area. Where does that come from? Is that 336? 337 or so. I mean, looks like that's pretty obvious of a level, right? Anywhere from 336 to 337. If for any reason Microsoft shows us some buying in this area for us, we could easily look for some longs and some pops back into 340. But based on how the QQQ is looking right now, you might want to be a little careful looking for two longs into the tech basket. I mean, even if the particular stock is strong, like it was today a little bit on Microsoft, it was trying to stay strong. It only ended up 3%, even though it had a bigger gain on the after hours session and the pre-market session for this position today. It had to give up a little bit of the ghost with how the market was moving overall. So if the market ends up being more bearish tomorrow, if we stay under 4,200 on the S&P 500, I think the QQQ can continue to stay a little bit more bearish and a little bit more weak and continue pushing down, dragging people's favorite Microsoft along with it. So be a little careful, obviously, for the long side, but I will be looking for a couple long opportunities on the stock without a doubt. And if for any reason we do pull back into this 340 area and see some rejection in the 340, we could look for some shorts into that 340 also. I don't expect a move back up to 350 tomorrow, nor do I expect 350 to come into play by Friday. That would be a little bit ridiculous for Microsoft to do that, but anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. I don't expect it, but anything is possible. We could look for some possible longs over here, like I said, once again, in the 336, 337 zones. But if those zones do give up and the stock does want to pull back into pretty much yesterday's high of 330, yesterday's close of 330.50, yesterday's high of 331, 332 or so. What is that high right there? 332, yesterday's high. Then that could be possibly the next area to look for some longs. And this range over here, you just let the stock kind of trade, not really fight the longs over there like I did on Spotify today, right? Let the stock go down to your level, trade it at your level. You don't need to, fight the level in between, kind of try to be basically FOMO. You don't need to FOMO on that level over there in between prices. So Microsoft, as we are going to head over to our notes, let me just do this. Okay. What's that? 336 to 337. Pretty much exactly what we said. Looking for stock to hold to show buying near 336, that's 337. But if this area gives because market is weak, then just wait for 330 area. Okay. Jesus Christ, the stock or this software is so buggy sometimes. Moving on to the next stock on our earnings plays, our earnings watch list is going to be Google. Google was, I mean, no words. Obviously, going right back in the after hours to our gap close price that we were talking about right over here. I mean, perfectly picture perfect to that gap close price. Now the question is, do we see some buying in these areas? This is a pretty big drastic drop on Google, one of one of the giants out there in the world for the stock market. So when Google sells off, a lot of people will be thinking about sucking up some shares over here for the long-term portfolio, adding to their account or whatever, or Some sadly even thinking about maybe selling this position even more because it's plummeting to the ground at the moment. So Google pushing the downside at the off the earnings report. We could see a bigger sell off. I will not be surprised by that bigger sell off. I mean, if we're near 122, why not 120? Right? Is it more plausible that this stock goes up to 125 than 120? If so, then get long right here and give it that $2 risk for that $3, $4 reward that you're expecting. But if you don't think that's going to happen, then you might as well just wait for the stock to go down to 120 and get long near 120 to see if there's any big buyer there, any supports to show up in the little bit of a lower end of these ranges, not really lower end of these ranges, but right around midway of these ranges, a little bit of the lower end of this price point over here. If for any reason 120 shows us some buying, we could get some supports there, but looks like a little bit more downside for the stock could be somewhere around 116, somewhere around 114 also. Yikes. So be a little careful over here for Google. This range is a little choppy, obviously, right? All the way from 115 to 120, even up to 122. Very, very choppy action on Google. But as you guys can see, a little bit more in the past, if you just scroll back a little bit, you'll see that this double top from 122.85 is exactly where kind of the stock is trading around today. In the after hours, that is, sorry, in the after hours. So trading right around that 123, 122.85 area. Pretty interested to see how the stock trades off the open tomorrow. Possible move down to 120, and then we can see what happens on the stock. I think I'm not going to look for any longs in the 123 zones at all. For me to get long, I need to see the stock back above that 126, holding 126, getting back above 127.50, holding 127.50. Basically getting back above this purple box that we've been trading in today. You have to get back above this purple box for me and show me some support for me to even consider trading you long on a longer time frame, on a swing time frame thesis. For tomorrow, any pops into these ranges and the lack of buying equals shorts, right? If for any reason we do open up a little bit higher, pop into these ranges, but we continuously see rejections of these ranges over here, easy shorts. But if we do open much lower and we do push down to that 120, then I want to see possible buying at that 120. And if 120 doesn't have any buying, the fact that the stock did not trigger SSR today, it might just have a bigger 9%, 10% drop tomorrow, right? So that could be something to keep an eye out for. Since stock didn't trigger SSR today, or so I believe. Yeah, even though it closed at pretty much low a day, it was only down 9.5%. I mean, what was yesterday's close? 138.81. Can we move our mouse there perfectly? A little bit better. Come on. Okay, let's just do 80. Who cares? Was that 10%? Yeah, no way at any point today did it trigger SSR. So since the stock is not SSR, didn't trigger SSR yesterday, could see more selling come in from new shorts, or those new shorts could get hunted and new longs come in at these discount prices. Price action is king, so just wait to see what happens at 120. If buyers at 120 could look for longs. If stock pops into the purple range of 126 to 127.50, could look for rejection. But if buyers stay away from shorts. I said could look for longs almost, but I'm just gonna say stay away from shorts. Okay. Didn't Jesus, didn't trigger SSR. I think that's the trick. I gotta highlight the word and then I gotta tell it to fix it. If I don't highlight the word, it doesn't want to fix it right off the bat. What a buggy software. All right, whatever, mate. Whatever. Snapchat. I mean, this stock, the way it's been trading for the last few days, it's been pretty crazy. And then off the earnings report, it rips up and goes a little bit more crazy. But then this is what happens on earnings day. Are you kidding me, Snapchat? Whatever. At the end of the day, we did catch a quick little long off that 975, 980 area today. Nice little long right back into $10. I mean, our risk was what? 10 cents, and we got about 30 cents for it. We'll take it. 3:1 type of trade. Easy money. Walked away with the money in the bank. Ha 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 ha. So no problems on that trade. But I mean, this is pretty surprising to me. The fact that Snapchat got stuffed right back to the downside, pretty much closing at $9, almost making it what the fudge. Now that is an earnings candle, right? So clearly a lot of stuffing right back to the downside on this position. It didn't really do that move in intraday, did it? Ooh, it did pop up into that $10.60 in the intraday, but it also got slapped on the intraday Prad. So a lot of question marks over here on what's going on with Snapchat. I think I'm not going to really be looking for the longs over here. If any reason the stock does pop back into $10, I think the only trade is look for shorts based on how it traded today, right? Based on how the stock traded today, based on how the stock traded yesterday, only looking for shorts into 10 if there is rejections. Could look for the short from 970 to 10 area. Okay, going forward, Boeing falling off the sky like the planes that they make, sadly. Rest in peace to everyone who has been harmed because of Boeing flights, sadly. But yes, stock price also plummeting, even though the report looked kind of in line. They even though it was not too much of a miss, right? EPS coming a little bit bad, but revenue coming out better. And they said they were one of the airliners was going from 4 to 5 units a month. So eventually, when the earnings numbers did come out, the stock did pop up to the north side, but immediate rejection later on in the day. And I think if you just want to get a little fancy and put in an anchor VWAP from there, yeah, that doesn't really tell you anything at all. But basically rejecting the anchor VWAP from earnings, pushing all the way down. I was able to catch a quick little long off of this area, but missed out on a bigger long. The fact that Boeing, the way it traded today, taking out this area, looks like there's still a lot of selling. It's stuck in a channel at the moment, and this earnings number pushing that stock a little bit lower. I do think that we have a move back into this 170 zones for the stock, so watch out for that drop on Boeing tomorrow. I think there's a little bit more selling for sure to come in. 170 to 168.50 is possibly somewhere that we could look for longs, but based on how the stock traded today, I think if we do get above the low, today's low of 176.25 to 175, I think that could be a possible area to get short for a nice little $5 move to the downside. Keep the risk tight over there. If you are able to get short on the break of today's low near 176, if the stock is trading above 176, I think you stay away from it. But if the stock is trading around 175 in pre-market or whatever, and you're the only area you're able to get short is around 175, I think 176 is still your stop. So your risk to reward is a little bit more murky that way. If for any reason we do get back above yesterday's low and hold above yesterday's low, the stock could easily get back to 180, which is possibly the only areas. Then you can look for shorts afterwards. So you want to be very careful when you're looking for any short continuation play on Boeing tomorrow. Those are probably the only setups I'm looking for, and I'm only looking for the short continuation thesis. Initially it did pop up off the earnings catalyst, but then later on sold off, so the sell-off is more important to me. Looks like the market did not accept what the stock had to report. So putting in our notes over here will be expecting stock to open around 175/176. If possible, could monkey a short into the break of 175 for a move down to 170 on open drive. If stock opens above 175 and reclaims yesterday's low of 176.25 area and shows buying, stay away from the shorts until 180 is back in play, which could be which 180 back in play. I guess that's the only thing I need to put there. Okay, next. I know that's wrong. How but you won't even correct it? I know that's wrong. Okay. Expecting stock to open around 175, 176. If possible, could monkey a short into the break of 175 for a move down to 170 on the opening drive. If stock opens at 175 but pops into 176.25 area and rejects, could look for shorts here. If stock opens up above 175 and reclaims yesterday's low, stay away. If stock opens above yesterday's low and makes a break for the low on open, could also look for the break short play here. Couple scenarios we laid out over here on Boeing. I'm thinking based on all the scenarios that I have laid out, I'm pretty confident in actually trading Boeing tomorrow. So I think, you know, we have a couple scenarios, 4 or 5 scenarios laid out based on what happens in pre-market. I'm going to be, you know, possibly putting this one on a bigger watch for myself. I think if the stock really sells off tomorrow, has a bigger continuation move down, that could be fun for us. But if it doesn't do, you know, what I wanted to do, then I'm just staying away from it right off the bat. Real quick, we're going to head over to Finviz. That is Finviz. We're going to head over to Finviz, type in Boeing, check what the PE is for Boeing. No PE because I guess they're kind of losing money, obviously. Forward PE 36. ATR $5, so it looks like that's exactly what we need if it's opening around 175. That move to 170, which is what we're looking for, that's exactly what we need. A nice little $5 possibility. So all things are lining up over there, and if for any reason the stock pops up into 180, then a short at 180 gives us a move right back into today's low of 176, 175. So nice little scenarios planned out for me on Boeing. I'm going to be pretty excited to trade this position tomorrow. Now, here comes stocks that actually announce earnings tomorrow pre-market. So no real notes to put in over here, just something to keep an eye out for in the pre-market as the stocks hit the news wires. RCL, another stock is LUV, kind of in the same basket. The travel lines, the travel names, a lot of them have announced earnings recently. American Airlines, CCL, DAL, UAL, all of them which have announced earnings, all of them which have been struggling sadly and pulling a much lower to the downside. So I'm not really too excited to trade this earnings name over here, but I mean that level looks pretty interesting, right? So if for any reason we pop into this level or break down to that level tomorrow on the earnings report and show some buying over there, maybe some longs to look for on that 2247. But you guys don't hear that, but my niece is going crazy because her mom and her dad are home. Not gonna be too excited for the shorts of this area. I mean, look at that low. That's COVID lows, ladies and gentlemen. So COVID lows coming back into play. That's not the stock. COVID lows 22. Hello. Don't expect stock to go much lower than this. Could look for longs here on a negative report. On positive, I guess look for longs on dips. Yeah, on a positive report, I guess look for longs on dips. Not really much else to put on there on that opportunity for the trade for LUV. RCL kind of in the same basket. Thankfully, RCL has been doing a lot better than CCL, but sadly, RCL does a lot less volume than CCL. So unless the stock does, tons of copious amounts of volume, is that even the right word? What does copious mean? Does copious mean a lot? Abundant in supply. Okay, good. Unless RCL does copious amounts of volume in pre-market tomorrow and throughout the day, I'm not going to be too excited to trade the stock. Sometimes on earnings day, it does bring in a good RVOL right there, 10 million shares, but that's also because it was a decent enough of a surprise beat on EPS and revenue and so on. So unless the stock really brings in that extra boost on RVOL tomorrow, not going to be too excited to trade. But right now, looks like we are holding off at some level that we have in the past. That's a long ago level, but we are trading somewhere around those areas right now on RCL. Not really too interested on any of these levels up here or down here, I'll be honest with you. It's going to be one of those back burner stocks for us. UPS does okay volume, and on earnings day some days it does bring in some volume, so also something to keep an eye out for. Currently at the 52-week low, that pop low is right around 154 155 on a positive. Oh, nice little, ooh, I like that 155 area. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, piece of candy. So that 154.50 to 155 area, possible pop into that area on a good earnings report. And if that good earnings report is really accepted by the stock market, then possibly move back into 158.35 or so. Keep in mind they recently had a bunch of union trouble with their staff and so on, and they had to raise a bunch of the salaries for staff. I think drivers are now getting paid $180,000 a year. That's a lot of money out of their own pocket going to the drivers' pockets, right? So they might be losing a little bit more money going forward. This is exactly why we're seeing the stock push lower and lower and lower, even after that strike and the battle that they were having with their own drivers and other staff members, not really helping the stock moving forward, because hey, they have to now pay a little bit more money out of their pocket, and most of the money that they were making might not be making as much. So I wouldn't be surprised with a little bit more move down, but any positive earnings report, I'm expecting a pop into 155. I think 155 area does see a little bit of rejection anywhere from 150 to 155. I know that's a little bit of a wider range, but I think if we do pop into 150 or 155, we do see some selling, and I'll be surprised if the stock does pop into the 50 period EMA on the daily chart, which is right around 159 160 areas. If we do pop into 160, I think there's easy selling opportunities over there. Obviously, I'm not only looking for shorts, I'm also looking for longs. So if we do get back above 150 and show me some buying support above 150, I think that move from 150 long into 155 is clear cut, easy risk to reward long for us on a positive earnings report. But if the stock is already at 155 on that positive earnings report, I'm going to be a little hesitant looking for the longs in that area. I think that's going to be a pretty solid pivot point. As you guys can see, the 50 period and the 100 period EMA, the 9 period and the 20 period SMA on the daily chart at the moment, right around those price points too. So it could just get murky over there and have a little pivot decision, just trade sideways possibly for all day tomorrow, and then figure out on day 2 or day 3. So UPS coming out earnings report pre-market. Altria MO, boring grandpa stock, stuck in an absolute range for half a year at the moment. For any reason, if we do see a positive earnings report and a good RVOL, we can get excited, but it doesn't really scream too much excitement on the stock. So until the earnings report comes out, it'll be a little bit of back burner for me, because I think these stocks over here are going to be the most in play for us tomorrow. Along with these back burner positions, I guess I should just kind of do this and put them there, right? Because that's what these are. So Coca-Cola, Verizon, 3M, Spotify, NE, RTX, CLF. Basically, all these stocks come from a little bit from our notes yesterday. Coca-Cola, we have not traded Coca-Cola on earnings day at all, and we kind of stayed away from it today too. It basically pumped right back into yesterday's high, and didn't manage to go above yesterday's high. So if for any reason, if there's more buying coming into this position, maybe Coca-Cola can pump right back into this 57 area or so. But look at that volume, not really helping out this position on earnings day. It brought in a little bit more volume than average, not a lot of volume. So it's stocks like these are more for swing trading. They're not really for day trading. Just because it does 16 millions of shares on a day trade doesn't mean that there's enough volatility for us to trade. But at the end of the day, it did give you some trades if you are looking for it. That 56 area ended up holding, and we did punch back above 56 right back into yesterday's high, and not managed to break yesterday's high. So if you are looking for a trade tomorrow, look for that possible break of 56, yesterday's high 56 or so, and getting back above it, and trying to look for the longs above there. But if yesterday's high or today's high acts as a resistance again, possible shorts around those areas, allowing us to get some moves to the downside over here on Coca-Cola. But looks like that diet drug, and even after the prices raised on Coca-Cola, not really deterring buyers from this product at the moment. Coca-Cola, baby, we love Coca-Cola, although I haven't drank Coca-Cola in a long time. Verizon, kind of looking like the Coca-Cola chart, but a little bit more different. Whereas, Coca-Cola actually closing at the higher end of yesterday's range. Verizon actually punched above yesterday's range, but closing in the middle of yesterday's range. So looking a little bit more weak over here on Verizon, not really pushing into those prices that we would be, keen to see how the stock trades. And so we're still waiting for that 34.95 to 35.15 area. Still waiting for 34.95 to 35.14 area to come in play. Stay away till then. When it is here, could look for rejection to play short off. Okay. COVID is not even a real word in the dictionary. Suckers. Maybe I shouldn't laugh about it. YouTube might demonetize me. Okay. 3M. I mean, stuck in a box at the moment. Can you say boring? Boring. So 3M's not really doing too exciting work for us at the moment. What we wanted to do is not really playing out. That 91 break is the only trade for me to the upside. Only playing long on break of 91. Until then, staying away. That's the only trade I'm interested in. If the stock earnings report is strong enough, show me that you can get above 91 and hold above 91. If not, fudge you. Maybe this low over here of 88 can be a little interesting to look for some longs. I mean, did we hold that 88 today? Pretty much. Not really, but pretty much. So maybe that 88 area could be something to look out for, but nah, I'm only interested on the break of 91. Show me some volume on the break through 91, and some follow through that level, and some absolute shorts getting burnt, and some long stepping in more. So I'm staying away until 91 comes into play. Spotify, yeah. This trade was something today. Might just have to stay away on the stock tomorrow. I think this will be really, really, really back burner position. I might even have to do this, which is do that. Oh, why does that do that? I don't like that. We'll do this. No, what the hell are you doing? Why is that not? You know what? Oh, is that? I'm trying to do something with keyboard shortcuts, chat, and it's not working. And I know you guys are probably looking at me like, what's wrong with Prad today? I apologize. Okay, I'll just do it by my hand. I'll fix it. CLF, I'll be honest, don't trade the stock. Hey, but it's getting a little exciting. Okay. Okay. Now I might trade the stock. It's getting a little exciting. Okay, let's do this for ourselves real quick. Now it's getting a little exciting. 1588 to 16. If the stock can get above, if stock can get above 1588 to 16 area and show buying, could look for longs. You know, the whole staying on the continuation thesis for the stock based on the earnings report. If we can punch back above this range high over here for me, I think there is some easy moves up to 1650 or even up into the higher end of these ranges on a swing term scale. So I'm interested on this 1588 to 16 areas to come into play on CLF. Never really traded the stock on earnings reports, but now that that area is coming into play, that's interesting to me. Could look for longs, but get ready to short the rejection. NEE, I mean, this was a big regret on the day today. We planned it out for you guys yesterday, for ourselves yesterday, basically. You know, needs to hold 54 to 55 for me to be interested, sorry. But here's the sad part. The stock actually opens up. If we go to today's day, you see how it opens up at $55.61. You see it right here at the top end of the screen where it says O right next to the ticker name, NEID NYSC. Then it says O 5561, open 5561. So today's open 5561 on NEE, and it just keeps rallying to the high side. Here's the 1 minute chart. Just keeps rallying to the high side, up and up and up, up and up and up, all the way into 56, almost 57 right off the open. That kind of makes me turn off from the position because, you know, I'm waiting for 54, 55 to come into play. You're not going to give it to me. I'm not going to, you know, look for you. So later on, it does come back. It shows you 55 for a quick minute. Barely you have a chance to get long. You probably just have to have a stink bid hanging there if you really like the trade so much. Never really have a stink bid having a, you know, I never really have a stink bid sitting there on NEE. I missed out my opportunity because that was a monster long over there, right back to the north side on NEE, all the way back up to 57. So this whole idea of 55 still stands true for me. So if stock can get back to 55, look for longs. Might just be able to leave a stink bit here with small size. Okay. RTX. Raytheon Technologies did pretty much nothing on the earnings day, traded sideways. Today traded a little bit sideways, but in the after hours it did a little bit. I mean, not in the after hours, but I mean, in the after hours did quite a bit of volume, but it was basically the closing volume, and I was watching it on the close. It was doing some funky stuff on the close, so I'm interested to see what the RTX does tomorrow. If for any reason there's some selling into the downside or some buying into the upside, we could possibly have some eyes over there. Not really too confident on any of these levels right now where the stock is trading at. The only level I'm interested in is into the gap up range of this $80 of RTX. Any rejections of those $80, possibly look for shorts. Rejection of 80, look for shorts, and hold of 80, look for longs. Until then, stay away, please. That's kind of just putting notes for myself over there, trying to stay away. Just stay away. You know what? Just gonna delete it from the watch list. And now we'll leave it. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. I mean, if 160 holds, no, just stay away. Okay. Earnings coming out with the after hours tomorrow. It's going to be Amazon, Enphase, ENPH, which actually made a little bit of the move recently to the downside with the SEDG catalyst. So ENPH got slapped to the downside, SEDG got slapped to the downside. But tomorrow, if for any reason ENPH can save itself with the earnings report and show you that the catalyst was just a sympathy catalyst, or maybe that solar catalyst was, to the overall basket for SEDG and for ENPH, then there could be a bigger sell-off over here coming into this position. So watch out for that bigger move tomorrow. Earnings coming out after hours. Intel also coming out with earnings tomorrow after hours. That one also had a little bit of negative catalyst recently with the help of Nvidia. Nvidia coming out and saying that they're going to partner with ARM to enter the PC chip business. So obviously Intel, AMD, which are the PC chip business market share kings, are going to just get disrupted in that space a little bit. So Intel tomorrow, not saying that that catalyst is going to impact them already in their earnings report. This is just the past being reported. But tomorrow will be pretty interesting to see how Intel moves over there. A little bit of a grandpa stock could just move very slowly. But on earnings days, I have seen some fun coming on Intel. But this is after our earnings, so we'll be watching Intel for a trade tomorrow on the last stream of the week for Thursday. So make sure you come back tomorrow for that. Ford popped up, I think, yesterday, or was it today? Was it today at some point? I think it was today at some point it popped up in the middle of the day. Yeah, right here in the middle of the day popped up at some point on the catalyst that there was a possible deal closing coming in, and then I got some push notifications later on in the day that something about Ford something, but I just swiped them like an idiot without reading it. So let's actually go find those articles to see if we can find what's going on that strike. Reaches new labor deal. There we go. So it looks like the deal is actually coming through. UA 3 hours ago. UAW reached tentative deal to end labor strikes. Reaches new labor deal with UAW. Still pending union approval. Okay, 43 minutes ago. This might be loud for you guys. I'll just turn it real down to be careful.
Joining us now by phone. Phil.
Brian, we believe that we have a tentative agreement between Ford and the UAW on a contract that will span over the next 4.5 years. There has been no official confirmation from either Ford or from the UAW, though I believe we're probably going to hear something from the UAW perhaps within the next hour. And usually the way this is done under Sean Fain's administration of the UAW, since he became president and started these negotiations, it probably will be done on Facebook. In fact, there are a number of people already online saying they've heard that there's going to be a Facebook announcement shortly from the UAW. But this is important, Brian, because what this begins now is the process of first the leadership of the local unions of the UAW for Ford will review the tentative agreement. Then the rank and file will ultimately vote. And this doesn't happen overnight. It's going to likely take several days. And what they're looking at is a contract with a 25% raise, cost of living adjustments that would bring it up over 30% over the life of the contract, investments in the retirement benefits, a lot of things that the UAW rank and file were fighting for, including a major reduction in how quickly new hires move up to higher pay tier, pay status, reduction of the number of pay tiers. That was a huge issue for the UAW and for Ford. So the question now is, how much does Ford say about this when the company reports earnings after the bell tomorrow? We're in a quiet period, so I wouldn't be surprised if they take the approach of, we're not going to say anything. Also, I think they know the UAW got their attention calling out the two largest truck plants, aside from the Kentucky truck plant, on Monday at Stellantis and on Tuesday at General Motors. I think Ford was looking at this saying, we don't want to have another one of our truck plants go down. And if they take down Dearborn and the F-150, it
So basically, what I understand from all this is, yeah, we got some pops in the after hours today, but this deal is still going to take some time to mature. Maybe that earnings play comes into the stock over here a little bit. We do get some more pops off that earnings catalyst, something to watch out for as the stock announces earnings tomorrow after hours. Yeah, tomorrow after hours is something to watch out for. But the union has yet to say yes or no on that deal, and they apparently will say yes or no on Facebook in the next hour or so. That was said in that video that we were just watching, and that video was posted 43 minutes ago. So technically, in the next couple minutes over here, next 10 to 15 minutes, we should be seeing something coming out, or maybe at the end of the day at 12 o'clock we see something coming out from the union members if they're going to accept that deal or not. A 25% raise sounds pretty good, but also 25% raise means Ford possibly goes a little bit lower over there off that catalyst. But obviously, sell the rumor, buy the news. They've been selling the rumor for quite a bit now, and now it's time to start buying up the news. Or no, is it sell the news, buy the rumor? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah, it's buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So we're buying up the rumor, and once the news drops, we could just see the stock start moving down. Or maybe if the news is strong enough, they buy up the news more and more and more and keep pushing the stock higher and higher and higher. So obviously the earnings catalyst tomorrow, the UAW catalyst coming in a little bit today, a little bit in the after hours again, and more possibly expected to come in later on. So something to watch out over there. Very, very news based position over here. You could easily get caught off guard if you're on the wrong side of the trade, and if the catalyst comes out in against your favor. So be very careful trading that position. A stock that moved over here in the after hours, I want to go say bye to my niece. You know what? I'm going to go say bye to my niece. I'll be right back, chat. Give me a second. Ooh, congratulations to my older brother. He just bought a brand new Tesla. He bought a Tesla Y, apparently. Congratulations. All right. Had to run back up for you guys. I'm a little out of breath over here. But let's get back on track to where we were. EDR. Man, my hands. As I was petting my dog downstairs. EDR coming out with a little bit of a move in the after hours today. Apparently, there's a catalyst over here for the stock. I don't like to put it on the 4 o'clock move, but I guess I have to. All right, I guess I'll have to. Because 4 o'clock move usually has a lot of the closing print numbers, but I guess that's the 359. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. That's fine with me. That's perfectly fine with me. Okay, good. So after our move a little bit coming in for EDR, the catalyst is that they are the company Silver Lake, Silver Lake considering to take EDR private. EDR is actually the company that owns UFC, WWE, both of which that merged together and became TKO, which is its own corporate stock right now. So WWE and UFC, both of them combined together is its own separate ticker, which is TKO Entertainment. And EDR, Endeavor, which owns TKO, which owns UFC, which owns WWE, and I'm sure they own a bunch of other stuffs too. Endeavor Media. Represent NFL and NHL. Really? Okay, let's go take a look at that. Professional bull riders. Majority owner of WWE, UFC through TKO Group. And fifth season, another random 20% stake in some other company over there. Okay. So mostly UFC, WWE, and some professional bull rider entertainment over here that they own. They own some other TV company. Give me a second, chat. So looking at all these numbers over here, we're pretty interested to see what happens over here for Endeavor tomorrow as the earnings reports comes out. Not earnings, sorry, as this catalyst marinates. Obviously, the talk of taking Endeavor private will be pretty much of a big question mark over there, because that'll be interesting to see what happens to TKO if they take Endeavor private. Do they have to take TKO private too? Does that make any sense? So I'm pretty confused as to what happens over here. So Endeavor slash TKO both are going to be on watch if for any reason they bring in volume. Some stocks that were active in the after hour today, not active in the after hours today, active throughout the day itself. AGNC, I think the stock yesterday announced earnings report, or it was a different catalyst, maybe not earnings report a couple days ago. I thought it was earnings report. No, maybe not. They are announcing earnings pretty soon, apparently. But whatever the catalyst was, it gapped the stock down about 10% or so, pretty drastically to the downside. And now even more bigger downside move on AGNC, and the volume on the stock is actually relatively high compared to what it's used to being traded on. So AGNC making those big leaps and bounds, getting below one of these ranges that we were interested in. I think we missed that trade today. I mean, we mapped it out. All we had to do was take the short of $7 or $7.30. Let's see what that looked like. I mean, yeah, look, that looked pretty damn clean if you ask me. We just had to look for that short on the break of that area, another short on the break of this area, gave you a monster move down, and that only happened to be down 7% on the day. That's pretty surprising to me. 754 till here is only down 7% on the day. So this might have been SSR day 1. This might have been SSR day 2. If not SSR at all, then the stock will not be on SSR going tomorrow. So we'll be looking for bigger downside moves if possible on this position. I mean, looks like the stock could easily keep on going down to that $6.25 area, which happened to be the COVID lows. So more downside on a longer time frame swing scale coming in. So any pops into possibly 730 to 736, we could still look for shorts. I mean, the stock hasn't really made that big of a drop. We're still hanging out right near $7. So if we do pop up into 730 to 736, pops into 730 slash 736, can look for shorts. Could maybe still look for shorts around this 7 area, which was yesterday's low. Mara, Riot, Coinbase, all of these stocks, we'll take a quick little look at them just by going over to Bitcoin USD, which is still around 35,000, surprisingly enough. Not bad at all. I mean, it's not looking to give up the ghost just yet. So shout out to BTC USD at the moment. You know, if we can hold these areas, I think that the next level for me to be watching will be the 40,000. I mean, do we see 40,000 coming back into play on Bitcoin? That'll be amazing. Let's go Bitcoin. So let's get back above 40k. Looks like there's a little bit of a level over here near 38, 37, but I think we could easily punch back above that area and just go tickle 40 and then come back below 40 if it's possible. So some stops need to get burned, some new longs need to come in. Crypto winter, isn't that technically a bad thing? Oh yeah. Dana White's slap challenge. I didn't think slap challenge is owned by Endeavor though. Power slap. Yeah, it's owned completely by Dana. I think Dana. Look at that. That's a different LLC than UFC's. I'm guessing whatever that is owned by Dana White. Yeah, I thought so. Not by UFC, but the UFC's chief executive officer, Dana White. It doesn't have anything to do with but with UFC, or nor is it owned by UFC, nor is it owned by um Endeavor. It's just Dana White's personal pet project. But obviously he's using all the power, resources and everything that Endeavor and UFC has connected him with 100%, right? Why not? Why not? Coming back over here, cryptocurrency still very much in play. There was a little bit of a negative catalyst at the in the middle of the day for cryptocurrencies yesterday that brought down Coinbase, that brought down Mara. I think it was right over here. So the fact that that stuff down on the news, and just pretty much kind of trading in a box for Mara, for Riot, for Coinbase. Coinbase did flush a little bit more today, which was the trade that you could have gotten into. We were looking at that $80 level yesterday. I think we put it in our notes. If we can scroll down to my notes, if 80 to 82 can hold, can look for can't hold, can look for a move down to 70, and basically look what the stock did, right? Goes down to 70, $75 or so, and 80, 82 area did not hold. 82 happened to be yesterday's close. Stock tried to hold that 80 area, did not manage to hold 80, and all you had to do was all you had to do was shorty, all you had to do was short the $80 area, and it looked like motorized selling on the break of that 80 trigger, taking the stock to a lower price point. Obviously, the market breaking down, kind of adding a little bit more sauce and a little bit more oomph to that trade to the downside today. So if you are interested to trade Coinbase cryptocurrency stocks, kind of obviously keep an eye out for how cryptocurrency is moving. I do expect Coinbase to show some buying in front of 75 to 76, and maybe move back up to 80 tomorrow, because cryptocurrencies are still in the higher end of these ranges. But this catalyst that came out yesterday randomly in the middle of the day, when cryptocurrencies were at the height of their day, the negative catalyst hits the board, taking them all to the downside. So that feels like a little bit of manipulation to me. It looks like BlackRock could have easily bought up Bitcoin overnight and then caused this fake inflation, and then released that news when Bitcoin was basically at the height of its day, in the middle of the day, and then just stuff it all the way back down. So I think it was a little bit manipulated. So I'm not really looking to play longs on any of these cryptocurrencies at the moment. I'm more interested to see what happens going forward slightly, and then playing off of them, off on those catalysts. The next couple stocks over here, obviously it's called the big tech basket, and you guys know what I like to do is just talk about QQQ and the S&P 500 when it comes to talking about the big tech basket. Look how weak today was on the QQQ. Monster sellings coming in. Nice little volume candle on the QQQ. Average 20-day moving average volume was at 55 million. Today coming in at 71 million. So volume going up, stock price going down, or the ETF price going down. Not really the most bullish indications over there, in my opinion. The question is, however, do we hold these prices tomorrow? Does QQQ open into 350 and get back above 351 and hold 351, or does QQQ keep on plummeting? Does the S&P 500 futures hold 4200, or do they keep on plummeting? And at the moment, the answer is keep on plummeting. The overnight low, the delay, my data's delayed by 25 minutes over here, so we could have dropped a little bit more 25 minutes ago. I just don't know. But the fact is, we're under 4200 at the moment. So trading under 4200 on the S&P 500 could possibly see the QQQ getting ready for a bigger move to the downside over here. And if QQQ is starting to go down, then shorts on Apple near 170, shorts on AMD near 100, 95, $93. 95, insane. Shorts at AMD near 95. Looking for ARM back at that $50 area, which we ended up breaking down today again. Intel coming out with earnings report tomorrow. After hours, or was it pre-market? I think it was after hours. Yeah, Intel coming out with earnings report tomorrow after hours, and a little bit of negative catalyst from Nvidia helping it get stuffed back down. So a bunch of these stocks over here for us to keep on watch. Amazon breaking that 125, 130, now moving to 120 basically. Meta getting down to 300 today, and the earnings report taking it right back into 287. So a lot of fun to have on the big tech basket, as long as the QQQ, in my opinion, can not show support at 351 to 350 area, because we want that short side. In my opinion, I want the short side at least for those trade opportunities tomorrow. I think that's where most money can be made as the fear opens up, as the VIX starts to go higher and higher. That is not the VIX, that's the BIX. But as the VIX starts to go higher and higher, back into 20s and back above 20s to 22, 23, I think that will only happen if the QQQ starts to plummet a little bit and the SPY starts to plummet a little bit. And that is what we're actually seeing taking place. So all things being considered, I think tomorrow is setting up to be a nice little tumbling Thursday on the market. Not sure we see a free fall Friday this week. I think free fall Friday came a little bit early. It happened to be today. But tomorrow, if there's any continuation on the weakness on the market today, I think we could have some fun. But let's quickly go see if there's anything that can facilitate tomorrow's weakness on the market. Is there any important economic data coming out? And looks like we have quite a bit of economic data coming out tomorrow. That's pretty important. So 8:30 going to make or break the market tomorrow, and that's going to be the core durable goods orders coming out, the GDP, the gross domestic product, also at 8:30. Trade balance, initial jobless claims. I mean, holy, 8:30 looks like an insane time period for the market tomorrow, as a bunch of numbers are hitting the board. We got Fed Waller coming on the mic at 9 o'clock, pending home sales at 10 o'clock, a bunch of auctions coming in for bonds market later on in the day. 1 o'clock we got the 7-year bond, which is a 2-star event, pretty big event over there. So quite a bunch of events lining up tomorrow for us to be possibly scared for the market to go in either direction, get swayed to the upside or possibly get swayed back to the downside, and continue the weakness that we've been watching play out in the last few days. So be careful for that at 8:30 and at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And if for any reason the market does show more weakness, get ready to enjoy the downside on a bunch of these stocks over here. We have some plays planned out, and I'm excited to see how much fun can we have on these plays, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's pretty much all she wrote for today. Hopefully you guys found some trades over there, and if not, maybe next time I can get you some trades that you can possibly smash and make some money on. As always, I appreciate all of you guys coming by every single day. I see a bunch of you over here in the chat, spreading the love, hitting the like and subscribe. Rekka saying, what did Powell say? Give me red? Give you red? What do you mean? Why did you hole in thumbnail? Rekka. Only in my 3rd year trading also, says Tobias. Hey, let's go, my man. Dana White wants to spend more time with this Roper. The hell is that word? Croupier. Croupier? A person who works in a casino. Ah, yes, he loves his casinos. A slap challenge at his wife. Yo, you're going too far. Chill, Dan Duval. We love Uncle Dana. I'm only saying that so he can start paying me for my Las Vegas trips like he does for a bunch of other people, like Steve will do it and a bunch of other stuff. So hey, Uncle Dana, help me out over there, man. I want some fun too. I want to have some fun in casinos and play blackjack and go see UFC ringside and all that cool stuff. Come on, Uncle Dana. You know how much I love UFC. Hook your brother up. Would be amazing time to do that. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's 9:30. I gotta go do a bunch of stuff. As you know, I gotta go walk my dog. I gotta finish charting, and then I gotta go play some video games too. Because what is a man's life without some play? All fun and all work and no play makes Pratt a dull boy. So I'm gonna go make sure that I go get some and work for my dog first. Then I come back and finish my charting over here, and then I got to go play a little bit at the end of the night. On that note, come back tomorrow, same time, same place, 8 o'clock, guys. 8 o'clock p.m. every single day, Monday to Thursday, without fail. If you have not already, please do hit the like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And also go check out all the links down below in the description, my social media links and my affiliate sponsor links. They help me put the food on the table, because clearly today's trading did not help me do that. This is the last time me saying good night because I know I love to ramble. So peace out. Adios.